guy back there. They were saying, wait a minute, you can hardly see me. This is not what we wanted. And a couple of other things. Number one, well, let me show you. I'll show it to you, and then I'm going to go to a close-up. There were only like 14 militiamen, but there are a lot more than 14 people. There's closer to 20. Rembrandt added more to make the painting look more exciting. When we see a close-up, maybe that's why the student has their hand up. Have you noticed the young girl? They said, why is she in our painting? She's not part of our militia group. Why did you add her? Well, very cleverly, there was a very clever reason why he added her. Captain Chicken. His name was, of course, in Dutch, but it's translated as Captain Chicken. And if you look closely at what's hanging from the girl's waist, can you see what it is? Chicken. That's right. And if we could look at the flag, you only see part of it here. He knew this group. It's been recorded in history. This actually existed. They know that the flag had the symbol of chicken feet on it. So that's why the chicken is upside down. They know that the flag had the symbol of chicken feet on it. So that's why the chicken is upside down, and you can so clearly see the chicken feet. Well, for years and years, the men had to take the painting. They had already paid for it. They didn't put it on the wall, the main wall of their militia hall, their meeting place, because they were so disappointed with it. They stuck it on a back wall in a back room over a fireplace where it hung for years and years, getting dirtier and dirtier from all the fireplace smoke and soot. And so people, this painting got really, really dark. People thought it was nighttime, so they started calling it night watch. But it's not nighttime at all. All of this Rembrandt lighting is coming in from a window over on the left side of the painting. So it's really day watch, but people still call it night watch. It was revealed about 50 years ago. The museum carefully painted carefully cleaned every inch of this painting, revealing all of this wonderful Rembrandt lighting. If you go to Amsterdam, you can visit their large art museum, the Rijksmuseum, and be prepared. There will always be a crowd of people in front of his masterpiece, Night Watch. You can see the size of it. The people are not quite, but almost full size. There's always a crowd of people. Okay. The word spread. Don't hire Rembrandt to paint your portrait. He does what he wants. He doesn't do what you want. So little by little, people said, oh, we better not use Rembrandt anymore. He had lost his home. His poor family had passed away from illness. He was down to living in one room, one change of clothes, his art supplies, and his Bible, and that was it. This is one of his last self-portraits. And the weight of the world is really showing on his face. And this, you can really see it. Oh, this painting is considered to be his last masterpiece. Fortunately, every once in a while, he did get a painting job. And this is one of the last painting jobs he got. So that's why this is called his last masterpiece. Do you think the men in this painting liked it?
Yes.
Thumbs up on this one. Yes, they were very happy. Why? Can you see them all very clearly? Yes, absolutely. These are leaders of a group of cloth makers. It was like a union of cloth makers. They called them guilds back then. These were like the president and vice president of the guild. Can you find the guy that's the treasurer, the money person? He would be the one holding the bag of coins. They didn't have paper money back then. Can you find the person that was not a leader, an official, he was just a clerk? The guy without the hat. Hats made you look important. The fact that he was just wearing, you can't tell, but he's just got a cap on his head, that was a sign that you were just kind of a lowly clerk, a worker. Important enough to be included in the painting, but not important enough to be wearing a fancy hat like the leaders of the group. They remind me, every time I see this painting, they remind me of the Puritans, the Pilgrims that were over here, for our first Thanksgiving. This was all happening at the same time during the 1600s, so they all were dressed the same way.
This is his last self-portrait. The weight of the world really shows. This was probably one of only 2 outfits he had. But even though he's older, he's tired, life has been really harsh for him in the last few years, he still is an amazing, magnificent painter. In his last self-portrait, you can still see that wonderful Rembrandt glow between the highlight and the shadow. Okay, I'm going to go turn on lights, and while I do that, there was a long list of vocabulary words for us today, so you can take a last look at those words while I turn on lights.